If you recently finished writing your novel and you've been staring at your computer asking, "What do I do next?" then this video is for you. You might be asking these questions. Should I hire an editor first? When should I design my book cover? And what exactly is Amazon KDP, and are there other digital stores where I should be uploading my book? And how much does all of this cost? If that's you and you've been feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. I started exactly where you are today, 13 years ago. I was overwhelmed when I finished my first novel, overwhelmed and confused about what my next steps were. I had to search and search online, reading blog posts, listening to podcasts, listening to YouTube videos to find the answers that I needed for each step. The good news is that self-publishing your book isn't nearly as overwhelming or confusing once you understand this simple roadmap. I'll show you my exact steps in this video so that you can self-publish your book too. In case we haven't met, I'm Lorna Faith, and I show first-time fiction writers how to write and self-publish their novels with simple and practical step-by-step videos. I hope the roadmap I share today makes self-publishing your books feel a little less intimidating for you. If you would like a detailed checklist on these simple steps that I share today in this roadmap about how to self-publish your book, you can download that PDF at the link below this video. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the complete self-publishing checklist step by step so that you'll know exactly what comes next, from typing the end of your novel all the way to holding a published book in your hands. So let's get started. Step number 1. Celebrate that you've finished writing your manuscript. Before you do anything else, celebrate. Seriously. Very few people finish writing a novel. You've already accomplished, just by doing that, you have already accomplished something very remarkable. Take a few days away from the manuscript and go for walks, read books, refill your creative well. Distance helps you return to your manuscript with fresh eyes, which is often what is needed before you get to the next step, which is step 2. Revise your story. This is where your novel really begins to improve. Instead of fixing every sentence immediately, start with the big picture. Ask yourself, does this overall story make sense? Does my hero change? Does my heroine change? And you want the answers to that to be yes. You don't want them to be the same from the start of the novel to the end of the novel. Does every chapter move the story forward? Are there scenes that should be removed? Is the ending of the story satisfying for readers? Think of yourself as an architect before becoming an interior designer. Build your house first, which means build your book first, and then you can decorate and revise later. Step number 3, get feedback on the story you just finished. Now it's time to invite fresh eyes to look over your story. These new readers might include people like beta readers, critique partners, writing groups, trusted author friends. Remember, you don't need to ask even 10 people. You could choose only a handful of thoughtful readers who might enjoy reading books in your genre. I ask beta readers if they would like to read my books before I self-publish. I send them the ebook via a book funnel email, and then they read it and they send it back my way with feedback. When they send me an email, they have detailed some mistakes that they've saw in the manuscript. And I thank them very much, and I'm very appreciative because it really does help me to fix those errors and mistakes and to make the book so much better. Then, on top of that, after I get feedback from 2 or 3 or 4, I begin to look for patterns between what the beta readers have suggested that I change. If there are more than 2 readers who mention the same issue, I'll pay attention. And I might just jot down ideas in a notebook about how could I change this? How could I make this chapter better? How could I just make a few changes from the beginning to the ending? There's all kinds of things sometimes that I change, but I do want to make the book better. Step number 4, Professional editing. Editing your book is really an investment in your readers. Depending on your budget, this includes developmental editing. This one does need a higher budget, but here's a definition of developmental editing. It looks at the big picture of your novel. The editor helps to shape your story itself rather than to correct grammar or spelling. The developmental editor focuses on story structure, plot and pacing, character development, emotional arcs, point of view, theme, scene order, dialogue effectiveness, story logic, reader engagement, and the list goes on. So not everyone will need a developmental editor. You can decide if that is something that is right for you. Next is line editing. Line editing improves how the story is written, sentence by sentence and paragraph by paragraph. The story itself usually stays the same, but the writing becomes smoother, more engaging, and more emotional. Line editing focuses on sentence flow, word choice, stronger dialogue, showing instead of telling, eliminating repetition, and improving pacing within your scenes, and the list goes on. Line editing is not quite as costly as developmental editing, but it does have a little bit of a higher price tag, so you can decide if that's what you're needing. Next is copy editing. Copy editing focuses on correctness, consistency, and clarity. This editor checks for the technical side of the manuscript rather than changing the story. So a copy editor focuses on grammar, spelling, punctuation, capitalization, consistency, word usage, timeline errors, character names. Copy editing is really helpful so that you can put a book out there into the world and give it to your readers without a lot of mistakes. This one is actually quite helpful. And last, we have proofreading. Proofreading is the final review before publication. The manuscript has already been edited and formatted, and the proofreader searches for tiny mistakes that might have slipped through the cracks. The proofreader focuses on typos, missing words, extra spaces, incorrect punctuation, formatting issues, page numbers, chapter heading, consistency, small spelling mistakes, and more. Copy editing or proofreading, you could choose between them. If the budget was tight, you could choose one or the other. Many of my books, I have chosen proofreading because I just didn't have the budget. And I just made sure that I had more than the proofreader to read over my book. I had my young adult children, they read over my book. And I had the beta readers to read over my book, and then I would always go through it. You can decide for yourself. You know best what your budget is. And the truth is that not every author can afford every type of editing, and that's really okay. Do the very best you can with the resources that you have. A polished manuscript really does build reader trust, so you do want to, in whichever way you choose, to get rid of most of the mistakes and the errors in your story. Step number 5, your book cover. Readers really do judge books by their covers, and your cover should immediately communicate to your target audience your genre, your tone, your audience, your promise that you're making to your readers. For example, a sweet romance cover should look really quite different than, say, a thriller. For instance, a sweet romance book cover often has a couple on the front cover, and whatever your theme is, for example, if your book is a beach romance, then likely there's a beach and some water in the background. If you're writing a cowboy sweet romance, then likely your book cover includes a hero and a heroine and mountains or land and horses in the background. If you're writing women's fiction, sweet or clean romance, I've learned that you don't need to have people on the front cover. I watched what other successful indie authors did who were selling well in women's fiction, and I learned that many of them did not include people on their book covers. So, with my women's fiction, clean romance mystery titled The Vineyard Inn, for example, I simply had a photo of a lighthouse set on an island and some blue water surrounding it. And that book cover really has attracted a lot of the right readers. Now, as far as ideas for book cover designers, there are very many, which is wonderful. And I've had several book cover designers who have created different book covers for me over the years. For my cowboy series and women's fiction series, I asked Willette from Red Leaf Book Design to design those covers. For my newest clean romantic suspense, I've asked the people over at getcovers.com to design that book cover. If you're interested in learning more, you can find the link for those book cover designers in the description below. The important thing to remember is that your book cover is your book's first impression to your readers. And so you really want to attract them. You want your readers to say, "Oh, I can't wait to read this book." That's the response you're wanting. So it's important to do what you can to get your book covers right so that your book will sell well. And that's really what we're wanting. The book cover is very important. Step number 6, formatting your book. Now it's time to prepare your manuscript for readers. You'll need formatting for paperback, hardcover, if you're doing hardcover, ebook, and lately there's been more readers who really like audiobook as well. Good formatting creates a professional reading experience for your readers. Readers may never notice good formatting, but they'll definitely notice poor formatting. To format my own books, I use Vellum, which is very simple to use and creates beautiful ebooks and paperback books. And you can get a lifetime of Vellum, so that's super helpful. It saves you money in the long run. And another option is that you can use Kindlepreneur's Atticus software. I've added a link below this video so that you can check out both of those formatting options. And I hope that's helpful for you. Step number 7, write your book description and back cover blurb. Think of your description as a movie trailer. Don't summarize every chapter. Instead, introduce the main characters, present what the central problem is, hint at what's at stake, and then leave your readers wanting more. Curiosity really does sell books, and that's really what you're wanting. You're wanting to attract readers to want to buy your book just by simply reading the back cover blurb or the book description. Step number 8, upload to Amazon KDP and other digital retail stores like Google Play Books, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and Apple Books. So now really comes the exciting part. This is where you can earn money with your self-published books as an indie author. It's important to create your publishing account on these different digital retailers. And just a quick note, I upload to Amazon KDP, Google Play Books, and Kobo directly with an account at each store. However, with Barnes & Noble and Apple Books, I use Draft to Digital, which is an aggregator, and they upload my books to those retail stores. You don't have to do it that way. I just thought I'd mention how I do it. I also upload my newest ebook release to BookFunnel. And then when readers buy my books, say from my Shopify store, my Fourth Wall shop, then the BookFunnel link for the ebook that they purchased is sent directly to their email address immediately after they buy the book. So that's just what I do. Here are the details to upload and the details that you need to add as you put your book up on these digital retail stores. You upload your manuscript, you upload your book cover, and then you write in your description. You add the keywords that are really relevant to the book that you are publishing. You add the categories. If you're writing romance, say, romance would be one category that you would add. And then you decide on your pricing. And I try to make my pricing very competitive. with other authors in my genre. And then after that, review everything very carefully. Order a proof copy before approving publication. And if you are deciding to do a print book, you can order a proof paperback copy if you're using Amazon or if you're using Book Vault or Ingram Spark, wherever you are uploading the PDF for your print book. You can order a proof copy, which is a really good idea, because then you're seeing how the book was formatted and if there's any mistakes that you can redo. And then once the book comes to you, you hold it in your hands. The printed proof is really an unforgettable moment, and it's quite exciting to hold your very own book in your hands. Then after that, we want to find readers, which is step number 9, launch your book. Publishing your first book is not the finish line. It's simply the beginning. Tell your email list, share on social media, ask ARC readers for honest reviews, celebrate with family and friends, and most importantly, continue to write the next book. Because what I found is that it's often your second book that helps really to sell your first book. And step number 10, build your author career. Many writers think, I finally feel like an author when my book is published. And I really believe you become an author the day you commit to finishing your story. Self-publishing simply allows readers to experience your story. And this is what I've noticed. The most successful indie authors don't stop after one book. They keep learning, they keep improving, and they keep writing. One book at a time. And you can do this too. Let's just review the complete self-publishing roadmap. Finish your manuscript. Celebrate finishing your book. Revise your story. Get beta reader feedback. Edit your manuscript. Design your book cover. Format your book. Write your description. Upload your ebook to digital retail stores like Amazon, Google Play Books, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and Apple Books. If you are also doing a print book, then you might want to upload it also to Book Vault, Amazon, or Ingram Spark. And then order your proof copy, just to double check that everything looks like it's in order. And then publish your book, and then launch your novel to readers. And then start writing the next novel. When you see the roadmap laid out in simple steps like this, self-publishing becomes less overwhelming. So I want to encourage you to focus on one step at a time. And if you've just finished your manuscript, ask yourself, what is my very next step? Not the next 10, just the next step. Maybe it's taking a short break for a day or two. Maybe it's beginning revisions of your novel. Maybe it's getting a hold of beta readers. You don't need 10, even if you had a handful. That's plenty of beta readers. Progress happens one step at a time, and you can do this. I hope today's self-publishing roadmap helped make the journey feel just a little less intimidating and overwhelming. And if you would like a detailed checklist on simple steps to self-publish your book, you can download the PDF at the link below this video. In the coming weeks, I'll be creating videos on simple self-publishing steps, including editing, book covers, pricing, launches, and mistakes that first-time authors can make, the same ones that I did. And I just hope this makes self-publishing your book so much easier than how it was for me when I first started. And if you're ready for more tips on self-publishing, watch this video next. I'll see you there.